It's my first day unemployed after working in corporate for 3 years, and I've got some hard truths to share. And these are some of the things that no one really tells you about. And if you're grinding for that next promotion or wondering if it's all worth it, this video is for you. First, I'd like to start off the video with that your value is what you negotiate, not what you deserve. And what I mean by that is you don't get to ask for more after the initial offering of your offer. So just keep into mind that finance and HR are rarely proactively giving you pay bumps throughout the year. It's usually what you have to negotiate with your own manager at the end of every performance period to get a better raise or a better equity package for yourself and really be that advocate for yourself in the value that you're driving towards the business. Just remember that if you don't ask for anything, you won't get it overall. So just make sure that when periods of time come where performance happens, you're really sitting down with your manager saying, here's what I need, and here's the value that I've given, here's the market rate, and really coming with analysis that you've already done to make yourself, hey, here's the market rate that you should be paying me, and here's what I should be getting. Can we meet at a middle ground somewhere? Usually it works. Other times it might not, depending on the manager. Now, the next point is that visibility is greater than hard work. And what I mean by that is that when you go to the office every day, are you making connections and networking with other groups other than your own team? There's other fields that you might be interested in or just should be talking to. If there's a finance function and you're in finance, you might want to talk to the FP&A folks, the revenue folks, the gross margin folks, and really understand everybody's role at the end of the day. Because when somebody leaves, that role needs to be backfilled. And if you already have a connection with them, you might be top of mind for their candidacy for backfilling that role. Now, it's really difficult to get promoted within your internal team most times within large corporations, and it often makes sense for individuals to switch teams because instead of your team advocating for your role to be placed at a higher level, it makes sense that somebody else already has a role open at the higher level that you could then transition into and then get the pay bump that comes along with it, and as well as those responsibilities. So you can grind quietly and really get nothing, or you can be visible and get promoted for really half the effort sometimes. The third point is that managers matter more than the job itself. And I realized this growing into my career, into what I am today, is that the manager really makes or breaks the role for you. What I mean by that is a lot of the times you might have like a toxic work culture, but that's usually implemented onto you by your manager. So if you have a manager that really cares about your growth and really understands the work life that you have outside of work, like let's say you have kids that you need to pick up and they're understanding of that, they accommodate for that, then that's your manager giving you that work life balance that other managers might not give. So a good manager is really good when they understand and can help you understand your goals and your needs as well as driving value towards the business all together in one. And a good manager can really make a bad job tolerable. And a bad manager can really ruin your mental health. I've seen time and time again that people have had bad managers and it destroys everything inside them. They hate work, they hate showing up for work. And they just aren't engaged in the business because their manager is placing these extremely high expectations on them where they can't even live a life outside of work. So that means nightly calls and deliverables early the next day. It's really dependent on the manager. And at the end of the day, it's not as important as you might think it is. When you are in a career, there's your life outside of work and there's deliverables within work, and you have to do your best to hit those deliverables, but oftentimes you might find yourself in a situation where life matters more than work. And when life does come and life hits you hard, that will be more important than work will ever be. If your family or health is in danger, you must take that route other than work. So just keep that into mind. That work's not the end all be all, but it is the means to providing a lifestyle that you'd like to live. Number four, titles don't feed you, it's the skills and leverage that do. Chasing the next title really means nothing if you're not building the skills that people will pay for elsewhere. Just keep into mind that you're only at this company for so long, and if your skills aren't marketable, what does that mean for you? You could have a VP title, but you do not have any skills that are marketable in the marketplace. It doesn't matter what title you will have. It's the skills that you bring along to the next role that allow you to elevate and get those titles. So usually there's the prerequisite of having analyst level skills before you get into management roles. And once you get into management roles, you need to have understanding of how to manage a team, how to understand people, how to be a people person, while understanding the analytical side and meshing those two worlds together to then make decisions in the future of here's what we need to do based off our workforce and our dollars, for example. Number five, meetings are often theater. Oh, number five, meetings are often theater. So a lot of the collaboration is performative and it's really designed to be busy or manage perceptions. A lot of the times you realize that a meeting isn't necessarily needed, and this could have all been figured out through an email chain or a message on Teams or Slack. Many times you're just meeting because it builds a cadence and it builds a relationship, and it really allows you to connect with another person other than just getting work done. So likely you could finish everything with the meeting. And if you're a really high performer, a lot of the times you get things done with the meeting and you focus your high efforts towards the things that drive more value towards the business, like meeting with higher executives that really want to meet face to face. Or a lot of the times, if you're just on a call, it could be really figured out through an email chain or a Teams message. Number six, I think this is the most underrated one, and it's that the most strategic thing that you can do is leaving at the right time. And as we know, companies don't really pay you as you should be compensated for your skill set. A lot of the times, the raises come with jumps in responsibility, and that comes as you switch jobs or as you switch companies. Though internally, there might be a pathway to get to the next level of seniority, but oftentimes, if you are switching jobs, you're also getting the market rate that is demanded at that time. A lot of the times when you're inside a company, you are getting paid just off a merit increase. And what a merit increase is essentially a raise for, let's say, inflation every single year to keep up with the cost of living. But you realize this 2 to 3% increase every single year isn't enough to keep up with inflation, because if you've known, inflation has been rampant in the past enough years. So really, be your best and biggest advocator by shopping for the rates when you are ready, when you feel that your compensation isn't as high as it needs to be, and you've talked to your manager of trying to increase that, but the company just won't budge, then it's time to shop for better wages elsewhere. And maybe if you really like your employer, bring that offer back to your employer and say, can you match? Because I really like working with you and I really love the team, and this is what I need for myself and my family. And if you are unable to match that, I totally understand and I'm willing to make this jump for greater future. Number seven, it's that corporate loyalty. I don't want to say it's a trap, but it's a trap. It's a really one-sided relationship most of the times, and you see layoffs and restructuring happen all of the time. And if corporate makes the decision that their budget is off by 0.5%, you might be on that list to get laid off or get cut in the future. So just know that all of these work contracts that you sign are at will, meaning that they can leave you at any time and you can leave them at any time. So the contract really goes both ways. Now, if you find that you have a better opportunity, then you have all of the reason to leave at will. And if they have found that they have not have the budget for you and they really want to cut down on their expenses, and they will, then that is all of the at will contract to leave you behind and leave you out of a job. I think the takeaway from that one is to not be extremely loyal to the company itself, but you could be loyal to the people inside the company, as in the relationships with the managers or peers that you've built overall. And at the end of the day, humans are social animals. And when we connect and network with each other, that's all of the reason to just make ourselves happier at the end of the day and drive fulfillment in life. Number eight, learn how the business makes money. Now, what really drives dollars and growth at the end of the day is sales, finance, operations, engineering. Maybe not so much of finance because that's more of an administrative role, but the closer that you are to the money is the more you will be compensated. And at the end of the day, it's not just dex and analysis that drive the business. It's R&D, research and development, and the engineering side that help fulfill that product and make it so it is a thing that we can sell. Now, the salespeople, they're actually driving the most value by selling this product, getting the highest ASPs or average selling prices for these products. And most of the times, you see the salespeople have extreme compensation packages due to the amount of value that they're able to drive for the business and generate that dollars to put back into the business. Now, operations and finance are really the administrative roles that are essential to the company. However, they're not always needed, right? It's usually a back end role where you're managing dollars, unless you're on strategic finance, where you're choosing where the dollars go, making the best decisions for the portfolio, and making sure that the company is on the right trajectory to spend as much as they would like to get the ROI that they need to drive business profits at the end of the day. And once you realize that at the end of the day, all that matters is creating a profit for the company to give people jobs and give money back to shareholders. So once you figure out that's the reason of every single business, then it helps you understand of the closer you are to the money, the more you will be able to make. And I will stand by that. Now, number nine is that the further you are from execution, the more replaceable you are. So, strategy roles and support teams are usually the first to get cut before revenue driving roles. And remember, the closer that you are to the money, the more you are replaceable. So, just keep that into mind when you are navigating throughout your career. And lastly, remember that your job is not your identity. You are not your job title. You are your first and last name. Your life is way bigger than a team name that is on Slack or Teams. So, at the end of the day, remind yourself that you need to live life for yourself and do what's best for you. And do not make or bend your true core values just because your job is requiring that. And at the end of the day, human relationships drive human fulfillment. So seek that out in any job that you do and make sure that you are connecting with the people that you want to work with and cherish. So that's all I got to say for this video. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe if you guys learned something new. Make sure that you guys let me know what are things that I missed or what are things that you wish you would have heard from me or added to this list. Thanks again. Peace out.